So today we got finally our first official information about the PlayStation 5 coming almost directly from PlayStation themselves. And just to explain to everybody who's curious real quick is that what happened today, I guess a representative for Sony PlayStation actually went and had an interview with Wired, of course the, I guess, magazine. I'm actually not sure what they are. Regardless, they had an interview with them and they shared some new information about the PlayStation 5, or I guess the very first information about the PlayStation 5, and it mainly has to do with the specs. And I don't think this is actually normal. I don't think they normally first reveal the specs before anything else, but maybe I'm just not remembering correctly. But regardless, it is interesting to have these specs because from what they've shown so far, of course, they're only going to show what they want you to see, obviously, but regardless, from what they've shown, it looks pretty good. But before we get into that, quickly, I want to say that I do have allergies pretty bad. You guys probably can't tell, but if you guys can, I do apologize if I do sound awful, but I don't think you guys should be able to tell. And also because of that, I'm probably going to not make this video too long, just going to quickly go over everything just because, you know, I can't talk too long with these allergies. But anyways, with that said, let's actually get into the information. So the very first thing I actually want to talk about that they talked about inside this is that the PlayStation 5, or I guess whatever it's going to be called, we actually don't know if it's going to be called the PlayStation 5 just yet, but we're just going to say that for simplicity reasons. But regardless, they say that it's not going to be launching in 2019, and this was expected to happen. I didn't expect the PlayStation 5 to come out this year. I kind of expected inside 2020, but of course that's not for sure either, but it's probably going to be 2020. But actually for the specs that they gave is that they say it's going to have ray tracing, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe the Xbox One X already has ray tracing, but I'm not sure. I could be mistaken in that entirely. But regardless, another thing they said they're going to have is that, and this is kind of weird because they say it's going to be SSD and more storage. So what I'm assuming is happening is that they're going to give us SSD storage, but they're also going to give us a standard hard drive just for more storage because SSDs do cost a lot of money. Now, in the ideal world, we would get at least a terabyte of SSDs because that's the amount of storage we're going to need now with games getting bigger and bigger because they're constantly getting updated. Just look at really every game that gets constantly updated now. There's some games that are already 100 gigabytes, which, I mean, if you have 500 gigabyte hard drive, it's not really going to hold that much. You have like 5 games at the very most if you're lucky. So I think that we at the very least need 1 terabyte, but what they're probably going to do is give us like maybe 200, even maybe 500 if we're lucky, of SSD, and then probably give us a terabyte of more storage, I guess standard storage that we would get. So that's at least what I'm assuming. We don't know that for sure, but that's kind of what they said there. So now I don't know too much about this one, but the GPU seems to be a Radeon Navid. I'm not actually sure how to say that, but regardless, it's going to support up to 8K resolution, and that sounds good. Again, not too familiar with that many GPUs, just a couple of them, so this is one that I can't speak too much to, but regardless, it sounds nice, and I can't imagine they would share information that isn't impressive to say the very least. But anyways, the other information they give us is that we're going to get an 8-core AMD processor. So, I mean, 8 cores sounds good. I mean, they don't give too much like on the hertz it's going to get and all that stuff, but I imagine it's going to be really good, especially with 8 cores. I mean, that has to be impressive, right? So, I mean, it's probably going to be pretty good. Another thing they said is actually that it's still going to use physical media, so we're probably still going to get discs. You could buy those and you can still download them. Personally, I really only download games anymore. I don't really get discs anymore, but for the people who still want discs, it's going to be completely fine for them, for they could still have their discs. But finally, and probably the most exciting news from all of this, is that the PlayStation 5, or whatever it's going to be called, but again, probably PlayStation 5, it's going to be completely backwards compatible with PS4 games. Thank goodness. Now, of course, you would like it to be backwards compatible with really all of PlayStation, but at least PS4 games, I'm just so happy because I'm so sick of going back to my old console to play my other games. I just want to have it backwards compatible, and because it's been so annoying with the PS4 because I just hate not being able to go back and play my older games from the last gens, and it's just so annoying that's the case, and I'm just so happy that the PlayStation 5 is going to have backwards compatibility, and I think they learned the lesson from not doing that inside the PS4 because it's something that people have really really wanted, and they just have not delivered. And Xbox has been delivering, and it's just been so annoying to see that PlayStation users have not been able to really play these older games. And really, that's the biggest piece of information for me. I mean, yeah, the rest of the information sounds nice. I guess CPU sounds cool, the GPU, the storage, the ray tracing, and the still using of, I guess, discs is still going to be all nice. But I'm just so glad to see that we're going to have backwards compatibility with PS4 games. Now, one thing I want to say real quick before I end this video is that I'm just curious how this is going to really affect the whole Stadia thing. If you guys don't know, Google announced, I guess, its virtual console Stadia. I'm just kind of interested to see if it's going to have like a huge effect on the PlayStation, the Xbox, because it looks like Xbox and PlayStation are still going for the actual hardware as a console instead of a streaming service like Google. I'm just curious to see how this is exactly going to play out. I'm just, wondering how this is going to turn out. I mean, if Stadia works how Google says it's going to work, then, I mean, the PlayStation and Xbox really have to do something special to convince people to still buy these $400 or even maybe $500 consoles. So, I don't know, we're just going to have to wait and see how that all plays out. I personally just hope it's something real special that they have here. It's not just they're saying, oh, we have better games or something like that. I really hope it's something more than just games that they're trying to get us to buy their console with, because I just don't know how it's going to stand up to a streaming service that you don't need to drop $400 on a console to use. So, just something I'm a little curious to see how it's going to play out, but we'll have to wait and see for that thing, especially with Stadia launching later this year and this PlayStation not actually being launched till probably 2020. But my throat's kind of bugging me right now, so I'm just going to end the video. So, if you guys did enjoy the video, go ahead, do all the normal YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, bell, share, and especially bell. Also, tell me what you guys think about the PlayStation down in the comments. But anyways, I'm going to go catch you guys next video stream or whatever it may be, but laters, guys.